Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results, some Superstars results, and some brief wrestling news, and some other saddening news. A couple saddening news, actually. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is no longer coaching in WWE developmental and said his goodbyes on Thursday night. This past Thursday night. Steamboat remains with the organization in the Talent Relations Division. Sin Cara has now been cleared to return to action after suffering a concussion on March the 11th in a match against Jack Swagger, where Rey Mysterio noted on Twitter that he is on hand for Raw from last night from Washington, D.C. Here's some more saddening news here from WBTV.com. Reid Flair was found dead. Yes, that's Ric Flair's son, youngest son, Reid Flair. And it was Rick that found him dead in his hotel room from Charlotte, North Carolina, from WBTV. Police in Charlotte say that the son of the wrestling's biggest names was found dead in a South Park hotel room early Friday morning. Officers were called to a hotel room along the 6,000 block of Piedmont Road. Drive south on Friday morning around 10:35 a.m. This is the Marriott Residences Inn. Officers found the body of 25-year-old Reid Flair, the son of Charlotte's Richard Flair, the Nature Boy. Sources close to the investigation told WBTV that Flair's body was discovered in bed by a family member, none other than Ric Flair. The source also told WBTV that investigators are looking into the possibility that Flair may have died from drug overdose. Detectives have determined that there does not appear to be foul play involved in the incident and say that the official cause of death will be determined by the medical examiner's office. Flair was also a wrestler, like his father, and was currently wrestling for All Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan, according to his Twitter account. Both men wrestle under their last name of Flair. We are heartbroken to confirm that Rick's son, Reid Flair, has passed away today, March 29, 2013, in Charlotte, North Carolina. As Ric Flair's agent had said, his agent is Melinda Morris Zanoni, told the WBTV. And she's also quoted by saying the investigation into the cause of the death is ongoing. Reid was 25 and an incredible son, brother, friend, and professional wrestler. The statement read, "No words can describe the grief that Rick and his family are experiencing, and they do request privacy during this devastating time." Reid's last tweet on Twitter was posted at 2:49 p.m. on Thursday afternoon. Two shows in Maryland this weekend at Ric Flair Nat R. Boy. That's his name. Nature Boy's Twitter account. Good. And then hashtag wrestling and even better times ahead, as he tweeted. Earlier on Thursday, Flair had tweeted that he was living the dream, as he was asked if he liked being in Japan. The professional wrestling world continued to grieve the sudden death of second-generation wrestler and current All Japan Pro Wrestling superstar Reid Flair. The 25-year-old Charlotte, North Carolina native, his body was discovered by a family member Friday morning at a residence inn in his hometown shortly after 10:30 a.m. This was a separate report. Reid had only the day previously returned home to North Carolina after completing a 3-month tour with All Japan Pro Wrestling. Police investigating the sudden death say that there was no signs of foul play, and they are investigating the situation as a possible drug overdose. An exact cause of death will be determined once the autopsy is completed. The funeral is set for tomorrow, being Wednesday. And I will give you some news on if you would like to attend or whatever. Send some donations or whatever. As the youngest son of the legendary wrestler, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, Reid Flair's professional wrestling career started at a very young age as he first appeared in the business in October of 1998 at the age of 10 when he appeared on World Championship Wrestling Monday Nitro in a match against Eric Bischoff. He was used again by WCW in June of 2000, this time appearing on Thunder, teaming with his father against Vince Russo and his real-life brother David Flair. Reid also made appearances in World Wrestling Entertainment in 2008, being seen on WWE TV at the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, WrestleMania 24, and the following night's Raw celebration of Ric Flair's career. Reid Flair started his own career in professional wrestling in late 2008 after having been trained by his father Ric Flair while he raised Terry Taylor and George South. He worked a limited amount of matches from 2008 to 2011 after dealing with multiple personal issues. Reid Flair was dealing with legal issues including charges for assault and battery and driving while under the influence. He has also had a felony charge after crashing his car and having black tar heroin found in his possession. Reid Flair had recently gained his most in-ring experience after having completed a tour of Japan and was scheduled to wrestle for independent shows throughout the United States. And here we look at professional wrestling career of Richard Reid Flair by the numbers. Of course, on TV, World Championship Wrestling, one match on WCW Nitro, and one match on WCW Thunder. And TMZ has released a 911 call from Ric Flair. And they posted that the 911 call Ric Flair made after finding his son, Reid, and there was a link to the actual, if you can you hear it, but it didn't even sound like the Nature Boy's voice. The article notes that moments after Ric Flair discovered his son, Reid, unresponsive, Rick frantically tells the operator, he's out cold, and he's purple. Newsday.com yesterday obtained the police report for Reid Flair, who was found dead in his hotel room in Charlotte, North Carolina, last Friday at the age of 25, according to Josh Stewart of Newsday. The word drugs was the only word written under the incapacity types category on Flair's report. TMZ posted the 911 call earlier that afternoon made after Flair was found unresponsive in his hotel room. TMZ reported that it was Reid's father, WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair, that made the call. However, it doesn't sound like him in the audio. An investigation into the death is ongoing. However, there didn't appear to be any foul play involved. Rick's agency called Legacy Talent and Entertainment, LLC. And they released the following statement and funeral information for Reid was posted on their Facebook page. On behalf of Rick and his family, thank you for your love, concern, and support this week. Reid's funeral will be held at 1 p.m. tomorrow, April 3rd, at Forest Hill Church, 7224 Park Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28210. The funeral will be open to family and friends who wish to pay their respects. No photos or videos will be allowed to be recorded or taken, and Apple security will be present. The burial following the ceremony will be private for family members only. Please send cards, memorial donations, condolences, flowers, care packages, etc. to Legacy Talent offices as we see Rick daily, and will ensure he receives every delivery. All memorial donations will be given to PAL, and that's the Police Athletic League in Reid's name. And if I'm not mistaken, I think David Flair is also a police officer in that area. And here's the info for that. Ric Flair, courtesy of Legacy Talent and Entertainment, LLC. 1300 Baxter Street, Suite 100, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28204. And the phone number is 704-334-7727. And they say thank you again for your overwhelming support despite the circumstances. We look forward to seeing friends and family Wednesday to celebrate Reid's life. Well, wrestling history from March 31st events. In 1985, the first ever WWF WrestleMania was held in New York City. Tito Santana defeated the Executioner in the first ever WrestleMania match. JYD defeated Greg the Hammer Valentine by countout. Valentine retained the WWF Intercontinental title. Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik defeated the U.S. Express of Michael Rotunda and Barry Windham, which is a future tag team I will be creating on my PS3 version of the WWE 12 video game. Okay, Andre the Giant defeated Big John Studd in a body slam challenge. Wendy Richter defeated Leilani Kai to win the WWF Women's title. And Hulk Hogan and Mr. T defeated Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff with Muhammad Ali and Pat Patterson as special guest referees. In 1996, WWF WrestleMania 12 was held in Anaheim, California. On the free-for-all show, the Body Donna Skip and Zip, who is also currently on my WWE 12 Tag Team division, defeated the Godwins, Henry and Phineas, in the final of the tournament to win the vacant WWE Tag Team titles. Undertaker defeated Diesel. Roddy Piper defeated Goldust in a Hollywood backlot brawl. And Shawn Michaels defeated Bret Hart in an Iron Man match to win the WWF title. The match went to overtime with no man scoring a pinfall in the hour allowed. In 2007, the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony was held in Detroit, Michigan. The class of 2007 were Dusty Rhodes, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, Jerry the King Lawler, Alpha and Zika, the Wild Samoans, Nick Bockwinkel, Mr. Fuji, The Sheik, and JR Jim Ross. In 2012, Ring of Honor Showdown in the Sun was held in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This was the second day of the two-day event. They had a lunchtime start to avoid clashing with WWE's Hall of Fame ceremony. The Young Bucks, that's Nick and Matt Jackson, defeated the All Night Express, Rat Titus and Kenny King. The Briscoe brothers, Mark and Jay, defeated wrestling's greatest tag team, still called the WGTT. And speaking of Charlie Haas, he has announced his pro wrestling retirement. Formerly, was at earlier this last week at a Ring of Honor event. If you didn't know, you better call somebody. The world's greatest tag team, formerly known as Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. Well, on that date, they retained the ROH Tag Team titles. Roderick Strong defeated Jay Lethal to win the Ring of Honor TV title. Davey Richards defeated Michael Elgin to retain the Ring of Honor World title. Also in 2012, the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony was held in Miami, Florida. Ric Flair became the first person to be inducted twice. The class of 2012 were Edge, Mil Mascaras, Mike Tyson, Ron Simmons, Yokozuna, and the Four Horsemen. Ric Flair, Barry Windham, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and J.J. Dillon. Title changes. 1978, Tim Brooks and Leroy Brown defeated Jose Lothario and Al Madril to win the Texas Tag Team titles. In 1989, Sting defeated Mike Rotunda to win the NWA TV title. In 1994, the Quebecers defeated Men on a Mission to win the WWF Tag Team titles. In 2000, the Artist, from WCW, defeated Billy Kidman to win the WCW Cruiserweight title. The Artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea. 2003 on Raw, Kane and RVD defeated Chief Morley and Lance Storm and the Dudley Boys in a three-way elimination match to win the World Tag Team titles. Chief Morley. I'm not familiar with Chief Morley. Well, in 2004, Kazarian defeated Amazing Red to win the vacant TNA X Division title. Celebrating birthdays. Happy birthday to female indie star Allison Danger, turned 36, and one-time NWA World Champion Naoya Ogawa, turned 45. Jack Swagger's first court date was set for March 12th, but it was moved at the request of his lawyers. Probably because he's on tour with WWE. WWE Superstar is due in court on April 9th in Biloxi, Mississippi to face charges from the arrest last month. The dark match main event from Raw's show was John Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback versus The Shield in a six-man tag. And that's your dark match main event. And I'll give you results later. WWE star Randy Orton turned 33 years old on April Fool's Day. Yeah, his birthday is April 1st. 1980. Orton is not listed on the WWE Live Events website for Raw, but he was listed on the Arena website, talent listing. He worked the weekend house shows, and I'd be surprised if he does not appear on Raw. Wait and see. I did miss a section of Raw. TNA wrestler Jesse Sorenson turned 24 years old. He was born April 1st, 1989. Sorenson has yet to wrestle since he suffered a C1 vertebrae fracture at the February 12th, 2012 against all odds pay-per-view when he was working behind the scenes. He's been working with TNA behind the scenes in TV productions as of late. I believe he got injured in the match against Zema Ion. I already gave the date for Allison Dangers was March 31st, 1977. She turned 36, and her real name is Kathy Carino. WWE agent Mike Rotunda, who I spoke of earlier, a.k.a. Lawrence Michael Rotunda, turned 55 on Saturday. He was born March 30th, 1958. One can only assume he will get an appearance from his IRS character on or around April 15th, date of tax day. Former NWA champion Ron Hands of Stone Garvin, a.k.a. Roger Barnes, turned 68 on Saturday. He was born March 30th, 1945. Former WWE wrestler Trent Barretta, a.k.a. Greg Maraschio, I hope I pronounce his name right, Greg Maraschio, Marasciulo, celebrated his 26th birthday on Saturday. He was born March 30th, 1987. That was the year I graduated from high school. Former WWE wrestler Zack Gowen turned 30 on Saturday. He was born March 30th, 1983. Gowen continues to work on the independent scene. He's the one-legged wrestler, if you don't remember. The following matches were listed for the 8:30 show, Central Time on AWA ESPN Classic. Midnight Rockers in action. Hernandez versus the Barbarian. I wonder if that's Hercules Hernandez. Kurt Hennig versus Glover. Living Legend Larry Zbyszko versus Scott Ladeau. And the match is listed for the 9:30 showing of the UWF on the ESPN Classic. Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. versus Sonny Blaze. Colonel DeBeers versus Iceman King Parsons. Formerly of World Class Championship Wrestling. I might create that tag team. Devastation Incorporated, because he was with that tag team faction back in the day. Superstars spoiler.net readers Rob Showalter and Nick Aiello were at the Raw event from Washington and post the following on Superstars taping. Great Khali defeated JTG. That's it for Superstars. And in Raw from the USA Network, live from Washington, D.C. at the Verizon Center, the show opened with a recap and hype. Shawn Michaels would appear on the show and was questioned what impact he would have. The recap focused on the big three WrestleMania 29 matches. Michael Cole, JBL, and Jerry Lawler checked on the commentary and stated that there were 16,733 fans in attendance. I wonder how many actually paid. John Cena made his entrance to more boos and cheers. Once in the ring, Cena stopped to soak up the crowd reaction and then stated, "I stand in the middle of a house divided." Ironically enough, here in Washington, D.C. Cena said all eyes are focused on WrestleMania. Cena said it's no secret that he and The Rock don't like each other, but he respects The Rock. Sounds like he's done this before. He said last year he would have made a rude over the line comment about Rock and questioned his passion and allegiance to WWE. He said Rock would have come out and made jokes about his mom in reference to his personal life. Those childish games are over because we all know that this is much, much bigger. As Cena said, he noted that Rock is the WWE champion and has done everything he said he would do. You name it, The Rock has conquered it, he said. Cena said he would not waste his breath talking about Dwayne Johnson. Cena then said he stepped in the ring on Sunday with the man he believes is the greatest WWE champion of all time. That paints a victory for John Cena at WrestleMania impossible, right? Cena compared it to winning the Royal Rumble and then CM Punk to earn the match and said the great one will fall. The Rock's time is up, my time is now, Cena stated emphatically. Cena paused as the Cena sucks chant grew louder. Cena said that the WWE Universe may get a moment they never thought possible in their lifetime. He said The Rock said that he can cope with failure, but it will not be like his previous failure. Cena said that he had to deal with the WrestleMania loss for a full year. And Cena said he had to sit behind the curtain and watch Rock debut a new WWE Championship belt that was designed for him and defines his legacy. He recalled Rock saying he will be the WWE Champion for as long as he damn well pleases. He said Rock stuck his foot in his mouth because we will get an absolute redemption. Cena said definitely that Rock will lose the WWE Championship on Sunday. And in the audience, one of them 16,733 members, current wrestler from WWE, wearing a mask, but he was probably unmasked in the crowd to don't know many people if they know him or whatever. The Masked Man a tag team with Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara. Well, that being said, okay. Well, he was in the audience. Okay, I lost my little spot. Alright. From there. So, okay, the People's Era will remain, Cena said. The WWE Universe will remain, but the mighty Rock will experience failure. He said Rock will have to wake up to talk to the millions and millions of fans and deal with the failure of knowing that the WWE Championship that was intended for him is being defended by Cena. So I guess the championship belt that CM Punk was supposedly to debut was also written off into the pasture, as all TV shows go, when the good guys always go. Well, Cena said that he has no intention of replacing the WWE Championship belt. He said he will hold it as a symbol. A loud, boring chant started, and Cena stopped to let the chant fade. Cena said that he will hold that belt as a symbol that he is not only equal, but better than The Rock. The crowd starts booing even more. Cena said he will shock the world. You will not believe your eyes, Jack. As Cena said, he said Sunday even Rock will know that the champ is here. Well, on that end of that segment, I'm guessing the announcer spoke at ringside. Jerry the King Lawler recorded a tout video at ringside and predicted that The Rock will win. A shot aired of Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus walking backstage. The crowd was tough on Cena, but I think that has more to do with the combination of boredom with his character and Rock fans than it does with it being a bad promo. There were several lines in the promo that will lead to the growing speculation of a potential heel turn for Cena on Sunday. His words were carefully chosen so that either will be able to look back and know that he was hinting at something or simply to leave people wondering going into the match. Well, my comments on that, Cena, he hasn't been showing much enthusiasm in his comments when he's making them things. There's like no feelings in it. So if you have no feelings in it, nobody's going to believe the crap whatever you're saying. Just like if I don't show any enthusiasm in my videos, you're not going to believe a word that I'm saying either. Well, first up, Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show versus 3MB. What? Glad I didn't see this match because I would think that this was a squash match. I think I did see part of it as I was coming in. 3MB got some early offense on Sheamus, but it didn't last long. Show destroyed all three members and knocked out Mahal and pinned him to win. And the match only took 3 minutes and 10 seconds. After the match, Shield's music played and they headed through the crowd. Well, like I said, I didn't see much of this. The trio stopped on the stairs and delivered a promo. Dean Ambrose congratulated them on their win and told them to do their little song and dance in celebration now because they won't have anything to celebrate on Sunday. Seth Rollins told the babyface trio that justice never lies and they know the truth. Roman Reigns said the truth is that Orton, Sheamus, and Show are not a team. That part I did see as I was actually paying attention to it. You three on the same page? Come on, another boring chant broke out briefly just before Reigns delivered the Believe in the Shield line. And my prediction for that match would be Shield winning the match. Possibly another section for Cena to interfere in the match to help Shield win. That would be something. And you heard it here first. That was my prediction. The crowd was hot, and they sure got a quick start to a boring chant. And if they wanted a lot of in-ring action, then they bought tickets to the wrong show. I am left more bored now by the in-ring action than the promos in March. We know who is going to win 99% of the TV matches heading into WrestleMania. So I enjoy the verbal hype for the actual WrestleMania matches a lot more than some in the crowd apparently do. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see it because I have to work on Sunday. Well, I'm glad because I wouldn't want to pay $60 for this crap of a pay-per-view lineup. Coleslaw hyped the appearance of Shawn Michaels and questioned how he feels about Triple H putting his career on the line. Lawler said we would hear from Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter on the streets of Washington after the break. Doing my impersonation of Jack Swagger. Hey, did you know, Graphic touted that there will be fans from 50 states and 34 countries in attendance at WrestleMania 29? Really? Lawler hyped that Coulter would be in a match against Alberto Del Rio later on tonight. That made a lot of sense. If you don't know, Zeb Coulter was an active wrestler for many years. If you don't know, look up Dirty Dutch Mantel. So there you go. Footage aired of Coulter and Swagger standing in the street in Washington. They delivered their usual speech. Swagger said he will break Del Rio's ankle and the spirit of those who abduct the American dream. He said anyone who doesn't like that does not deserve to be real Americans. Matt Striker interviewed Alberto Del Rio on the backstage interview set. Del Rio responded to Swagger's bit and said he doesn't know why Coulter challenged him to a match, but he sees him as a fat pinata with a mustache. The announcers hyped Daniel Bryan for after the break. Announcers hyped that Vince McMahon is on Twitter now and hyped a big reveal for Friday night. And they've done the tapings already. And as soon as the Raw video, I'll be doing the SmackDown spoilers and let you know. It's going to be short and sweet because there's only 2 matches for SmackDown, and the rest will be nothing more than video leading up to WrestleMania. Well, match number 2, Daniel Bryan with Kane defeated Dolph Ziggler with Big E Langston and AJ Lee. I did see this entire match. Bryan stood at ringside and had a stare down with Langston. Once Bryan rolled back inside the ring, Ziggler caught him with a famouser for a 2 count. And they go to commercial. After the break, Bryan caught Ziggler with a series of kicks, but then missed the big finale kick. However, Ziggler pushed Bryan off the ropes, and then Bryan caught him with the big kick. Bryan went for a top rope headbutt, but Ziggler rolled out of the way. Later, both men went for crossbody blocks and crashed real hard that you could actually hear like bones crashing as they landed on the floor. AJ skipped around Kane outside the ring, and Langston used that distraction to take a shot at Kane. And Bryan kicked Langston through the ropes. Dolph rolled up Bryan and pinned him. Nothing more than that. After the match, Langston hit the ring and destroyed Daniel Bryan with the big ending. Kane recovered and threw punches at Ziggler and Langston. Kane went for a choke slam on Langston, but Langston used his hand to pull free. Come on now. Of Kane's Kung Fu death grip. Langston performed his big ending finisher on Kane. And Dolph Ziggler defeat Daniel Bryan in an 11-minute match. Pretty decent match. Kind of led you right into the screw job finish. As so predictable. It was nice to see something other than I was predicting the squash match anyways, especially with Big E and the distraction AJ. Don't call her crazy AJ. Though you had to assume Dolph was going over since he and Langston are challenging at the pay-per-view. Thus the outcome was so predictable and logical, and Langston looked like a major league badass via the post-match drama with Kane. And Coleslaw hyped Undertaker eviscerates CM Punk later in the show. And Lawler hyped HBK for after the break as they go to commercial. Shawn Michaels made his entrance to a big ovation, highlights aired of Brock Lesnar snapping Triple H's arm last year, and then doing the same at SummerSlam. Now you didn't think that we could WrestleMania without Mr. WrestleMania, did you? As Michael said, I love this time of year. HBK ran through some of WrestleMania 29 matches, and the gear that Shawn Michaels was wearing was kind of like the same gear that Zab Coulter wears. And there was a comment made on one of the, I think it was on Facebook. What is he wearing? He must be going hunting or fishing after the show. Well, that's what he does when you're retired. You can do that. Well, as you said, fans know that that's why he's there. He said there was one match he's particularly interested in, and then that's the match between Brock Lesnar and his best friend, Triple H. Seems like we've heard this before. Just like last year when Triple H versus Undertaker. Shawn said that there's a ton of history between Brock and Hunter. And his own arm is a part of that history. Shawn said that he really became concerned with Triple H, put his career on the line, and now he has very seriously doubts and questions Triple H's music interrupted HBK. Coleslaw said that this could be the last time viewers see Triple H on Raw in this capacity, and stressed the retirement possibility. Once in the ring, Triple H hugged Shawn. Hunter told Shawn that he knows what he's doing, and it's the same situation Shawn was in. HBK and Hunter believe that their situations are the same, but they are different. He said that when his career was on the line, he looked across the ring and saw a man that had the utmost respect for, and that opponent had the utmost respect for him. He said his opponent never came out and bragged about ending his career because he has that much respect for him. He said Brock Lesnar isn't the same way because he respects no one. Shawn said Brock does what he does for money, to hurt people, and because he enjoys creating havoc. Shawn spoke about how much Triple H lives for the business. Triple H said Shawn couldn't talk him out of the match in any way possible. Shawn said Hunter is mistaken. I came here to tell you that at WrestleMania you better kick Brock Lesnar's ass, as he said. And HBK announced that unlike SummerSlam, he would be in Triple H's corner to watch him do it. And if you're not down with that, I got 2 words. Interruption. Brock Lesnar's music comes out. Lesnar and Paul Heyman marched onto the stage. JBL referred to Heyman as the greatest manager that had ever lived. Lesnar headed toward the ring. Heyman tried to talk him out of it. Heyman took the mic and said, for the record, his client has 2 words for them, but he doesn't think it's the 2 words that they're looking for. Heyman said Lesnar is going to beat Triple H into retirement on Sunday at WrestleMania. He said Hunter will have to learn to live with the disappointment. He said Triple H will disappoint Vince McMahon because he won't be able to fight his battles for them. He said Hunter will disappoint the board of directors because he won't be able to fulfill his duties as COO anymore. You're going to disappoint your wife, but you're probably used to that anyway, as Heyman said. You're going to disappoint your best friend, Shawn Michaels, Heyman said. He's a good negotiator and his client gets paid to fight. He asked Shawn if he really wants to be so close to Triple H when Lesnar destroys Triple H again and possibly breaks HBK's arm again, too. Heyman said Hunter and Shawn fight from emotion, which is why HBK had to retire from WrestleMania. Heyman said Triple H should have just walked away from the fight, but now I assure you that you won't be able to walk away. When Brock Lesnar is done with you, you're going to crawl away with your tail between your legs, a beaten, battered, emasculated retiree that has disappointed the entire WWE Universe. Heyman then said Triple H was never man enough to beat Lesnar, who has forced Triple H to commit professional suicide. Lesnar's music played. Coleslaw asked whether Heyman is correct. Hunter gave them a chop from the ring for a minor pop. Coleslaw noted that it's a no-holds-barred match, which is right up Lesnar's alley. Lawler was there to ruin whatever impact they may have had by saying it's not up anyone's alley, but it will be a good fight as they go to commercial. Broken record time. Great mic work for Heyman. I like the late addition of HBK to the show. I was prepared for WrestleMania without HBK, but if I'm not mistaken, on his Facebook account, he did say he would be at Raw the Raw before WrestleMania. So, that being announced, he's going to be there. But the late addition adds a little more to the match than the overall show. It's nice to see a last-minute surprise that would have felt predictable had it taken place earlier in the hype. Still wish Triple H would have spent more time talking about the threat of retirement at some point during the build-up. Last week would have been the week to sell viewers on that, but we got the short ass-kicker promo instead. Highlights aired from Cena's promo that opened the show. Lawler touted that The Rock was in the building. Additional highlights aired of the Shield promo. The Miz sat on commentary. It was announced that Wade Barrett versus Miz is now on the 1 hour free pre-show. 1 hour free? I guess they're dropping the extra hour. It's normally a 4 hour event. I guess it's back to a 3 hour event. Miz tried to say that the first match and the last match are the most important. And we get the third match from Raw. Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett versus Zack Ryder in a non-title match. This was actually a boring match. I was thinking squash match all the way again. Well, the Miz remained on commentary for the match. Barrett controlled the match until he became distracted by the Miz momentarily. Ryder had a short run of offense, but Barrett put him away with a bullhammer elbow. Forearm shot. Wade Barrett won it in 3 minutes 45 seconds. The worst type of pre-WrestleMania match in that everyone knew who was going over and no one cared about either guy. I still can't get over the way they buried the secondary champions. Backstage segment with Miss Piggy Guerrero and Brad Maddox were talking about backstage when Santino Marella entered the room and told them that Vince McMahon was in the building and he was angry with both of them. Well, it took a few minutes. He did what he said. What he said, and walks off, and then comes back as Vicky and Brad were talking about something. And when Santino came back, he said, "April Fool." Vicky said she knew for a fact that Vince wasn't there, and she whispered into Maddox's ear something, and Maddox whispered something back. Vicky told Santino he was in a match, and he should be headed to the ring next. Maddox said they would find out who the biggest fool is. Then he said it's Santino as he's walking off. Commercial break. Is anyone else worried that Vince McMahon's big Twitter reveal is going to be pictures of his junk? I promise that my own Twitter reveal on Friday won't be far like. Match number 4, Santino Marella versus Mark Henry. Of course, this is going to be a squash match. Nothing more than comedy and then squash, and that was it. Highlights aired of Mark Henry pushing the weight bar from last week's SmackDown on Ryback's throat on SmackDown, as the record-breaking NFL, I think it was like 225 pounds, was lifted by each man. It's like 52 times. It's something like 42 times. I've forgotten the actual, well, whatever. I lost my interest in that anyways. Well, just check out my spoiler from last week. Well, Santino kicked Henry twice. No reaction. He tried to take out the Cobra glove, but Henry stopped him and hit the world's strongest slam for the win. But he actually did get the glove out. You don't want to go there, but pull it out. World's strongest slam, not once, but twice. And the match only took 55 seconds. Ryback's music played, then headed to the ring for the save. As Henry told him to hold on. He said he knows Ryback because he didn't break his bench press record, but that he doesn't give him the right to come out and threaten him. And Henry reminded Ryback that they have a no contact clause until WrestleMania. Now here's the no contact clause, Eric. You cannot physically touch him with your fingers or arm or anything like that. So this is the revenge that Ryback gets on Mark Henry. Mark Henry actually didn't touch him with his body. He touched him with the weight bar, just holding him down. As the announcers even said that on the program. Well, Henry said he wants to get his hands on Ryback. And I know you want to put yours on me, as Henry said. Anyway, Henry said that the only thing that would happen tonight is his smile. Henry started to leave the ring. Ryback picked up Santino momentarily ran him into Henry, knocked him out of the ring. Then Ryback pressed Santino over the top rope and threw him onto Mark Henry on the floor. So therefore, no touching. A shot aired of Coulter and Swagger talking backstage as they go to commercial. The live crowd was deader than Leslie Lohan's career while Henry spoke, but they lived up a bit once Ryback used Santino to get around the no contact rule. Rough mic work from Henry. The announcer spoke at ringside about Vince McMahon's Twitter page and how he will send out quick picks on Friday. Okay, I made that part up, but he probably might. Always talking about his cantaloupes or whatever you call them. They said Vince had 53,000 followers in just 90 minutes when he signed up for Twitter earlier on Monday. Backstage segment again. Matt Striker asked CM Punk if he feels he is disrespecting the memory of Paul Bearer. And he's quoted by saying, "I think a better question is, do I give a damn if I am disrespecting the memory of Paul Bearer?" As Punk replied, Punk said he's trying to get inside Undertaker's head to end the streak. Punk then talked about the possibility of Taker getting angry and getting himself disqualified or counted out. Punk said that whenever someone thinks about WrestleMania, they are going to think about CM Punk. If you're trying to get into a guy's head, it's probably not a good idea to tell him you're just trying to get in his head. Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger make their entrance. Announces hype Coulter's match for after the break as they got a commercial. Next up, number 5 match, World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio versus Zeb Coulter in a quick match. Non-title match, of course. Ricardo Rodriguez introduced Alberto Del Rio from the top of the stage while still on his crutches. Del Rio wanted Ricardo to go backstage, which he eventually does, but he went to ringside instead. But they actually showed him going backstage. Swagger slowly stalked Ricardo. Coulter reached over the ropes and took Ricardo's crutch. Swagger took Ricardo down for the Patriot lock, but Del Rio kicked Swagger into the barricade. Coulter struck Del Rio with the crutch for the disqualification. Like I said, a quick match, 45 seconds. After the match, Coulter struck Del Rio with the crutch again and again and again and again, but Del Rio recovered. Swagger attacked Del Rio with the crutch. Swagger and Coulter took turns striking Del Rio with the crutch, as he's actually got some red marks on his back and arm. And then highlights aired of Cena's promo from the opening segment. Cole saw hype that The Rock was up next. Del Rio's back was covered in red marks. No, not communist pro wrestling fans. Red marks from the crutches shots. Jeez, pay attention, people. The Rock's music hit, and he made his entrance heading into the top of the hour. Great move by WWE, having The Rock appear heading into the overrun of the show. Wow, 5 matches for 3 hours show. April Fools, there's another hour to go. The 3-hour format is a joke on all of us WWE Raw viewers. Rock was greeted with loud Rocky chants. Connection, Rock started. He said that the connection between him and the people is the only reason he's standing in the middle of the ring. Rock addressed Cena by saying that Sunday isn't about redemption, it's about the will of the people. And this Sunday, the will of the people isn't for John Cena to find his redemption. He said before adding that it is about stomping Cena's monkey ass all over WrestleMania. Rock said that if the people will it, we can change the world. Rock said maybe, just maybe, instead of Rock visiting this town, The Rock will have to live in this town. Rock said that if the people will it, The Rock would live in a big house right up the road. A big white house, Rock said. Maybe, just maybe, we go from the President Barack to President The Rock. Rock asked the fans if he can count on their vote. He got a good applause. Then he urged for a better reaction and got one. Rock delivered finally line. He recalled putting Cena down with the rock bottom last week and said Cena's time won't be now on Sunday. Your time is never, he said. Rock said it's not about redemption. And it's damn sure not about passing the torch. Rock said the only way it would be a torch is if he set the belt on fire and stuck it straight up Cena's candy ass. Rock says Cena isn't just facing The Rock, he's facing a connection that he doesn't realize how big it is. You cannot deny the will of the people, and you cannot beat The Rock, he said. Rock closed the segment. If you smell what The Rock, pause, is cooking. Coleslaw said it was like the tale of two different superstars. He said Rock was extremely confident, whereas Cena seemed to believe it's the last chance. A shot aired of Chris Jericho walking backstage as they cut to a commercial break. Best line of the segment came from Cole as he emphasized the difference between the Rock and Cena characters going into the match. Rock was fine, but not WrestleMania. Go home great by his standards. Here's hoping there's more to come from The Rock and Cena tonight. Match number 6. U.S. Champion Antonio Cesaro versus Chris Jericho in a non-title match. JBL said Jericho was the only WWE personality to appear on Dancing with the Stars who didn't date George Clooney. That was funny. Jericho was in control of the match when Fandango's music interrupted the match. Fandango and his dancer performed their pre-non-match entrance. Cesaro performed a sit-out slam and then followed up with a yodel and an uppercut. I was wondering where it came from myself. Jericho came back with a double axe handle off the top rope. Meanwhile, Fandango held up voting numbers 1 to 10 to grade Jericho's moves. He was like a Romanian judge when U.S. athletes were competing. Fandango finally made his way to the ringside. He actually did a 2 vote and a 4 vote. Well, the announcers kind of screwed that up. Said that was a low number. Well, Fandango finally made his way to ringside and continued the judging until Jericho caught him with a drop kick through the ropes for a pop. Short time later, Jericho applied the walls of Jericho for the submission win. Fandango attacked Jericho after the bell and was greeted with a loud "You can't wrestle" chant. Fandango performed the top rope leg drop on Jericho and left him lying. Then he went Michelle from American Pie on him and demanded that Jericho say his name, bitch. Fandango performed the top rope leg drop again. He took the mic and told Jericho what his name is. And Jericho beat Cesaro in a non-title match in 12 minutes 50 seconds. As good as Jericho and Cesaro are, Jericho missed a drop kick on a seated Cesaro by a mile. And then Cesaro's double stomp around Jericho were both pretty hokey looking, because you can actually tell he didn't even catch him at all. It was a pretty good match, but not as good as some of the Twitter comments I caught seemed to suggest. Then the announcers hyped The Undertaker will remove CM Punk's bowels or something like that later on tonight as they cut the commercial. Coleslaw announced that Stephanie McMahon accepted Triple H's, Trish Stratus's invitation to be her Hall of Fame inductor. Virgin males and dateless women who thankfully have yet to meet and breed were shown delivering top predictions on the Rock versus John Cena match. And Brodus Clay and company made their entrance as they cut to commercial. Yeah, I know one of these weeks, one of you will be featured in a top video on Raw. I will insult you during your live coverage. You'll get pissed. I'll continue to cover Raw. You'll send repeated death threats before you eventually look back and realize you look like a jackass. I will share a humiliating detail of my life to make you feel better. We will make peace. I will still privately look down on you. Well, that's what you record can and will be used against you. There you go. Match number 7. The Funkadactyls, Cameron and Naomi with Brodus Clay and Sweet Tea at ringside versus the Bella Twins with You're Welcome and Cody Rhodes and his mustache. So we get 3 5 versus 4. As Clay patted on the mat with pom-poms, yeah, he was a cheerleader in the match, Cameron took a not-so-hot tag and got the better of one of the twins. The twins came back and won with a roll-through. No one cared more than the 4 wrestlers at ringside or Cody Rhodes' mustache, as they were just acting anyways. Bella Twins won in 4 minutes 45 seconds. It's as if WWE doesn't want people to order WrestleMania 29. Coleslaw hyped that The Undertaker would eviscerate CM Punk after the break as they go to commercial. Undertaker's music played and he made his entrance. Taker said Punk's WWE Championship reign lasted over 400 days, but the pain he will endure will last an eternity. Taker said Punk made it personal and now he will suffer. He said beating Punk at WrestleMania is no longer good enough. The disrespect you showed Paul Bearer will cause you to pay the ultimate price, as Taker said. He concealed that the streak may come to an end on Sunday due to his current state of mind, but Punk will never live to talk about it. Well, he gets interrupted by the Druids' music played. The oversized Jawas walked out and lined up on opposite sides of the entrance ramp. Lawler said he doesn't think that this was something Undertaker had planned. Coleslaw said that this is very strange. Yeah, no shit. Oh, he's talking about the angle. Not the last month of Raw leading into the WrestleMania 29. And then we get to be heard as Paul Heyman dresses Paul Bearer. He even had to make up and everything. Walked on to the stage and held out the urn. The crowd groaned. Taker headed toward Bearer. He stopped and punched one of the Druids as he was thinking it was Punk. Well, however, it wasn't. But he was on the other side. However, Punk revealed himself as one of the other Druids that struck Taker from behind. CM Punk chant started. Then there were Undertaker chants in response, but Punk chants were louder. Punk hit Taker with the urn repeatedly and yelled, "I did this to you." Punk continued to slam the urn down onto Taker. He unscrewed the top of the urn and poured the ashes into his hands and then threw the ashes at Taker. The crowd groaned and moaned and booed. Punk rubbed some of the ashes on his face and his chest and his entire body as the show ends. Really? That's how they close out the hype for WrestleMania 29. If you don't find the angle tasteless and find it perfectly acceptable, you have to know that it's a big turnoff to a good portion of the audience. Those who were turned off by the angle aren't likely to view Punk as the bad guy as much as they will look at WWE as the bad guy. It was not as shocking as I don't really think it made the masses want to see Punk get his ass kicked. Hell, listen to the mix of groans, boos, and complaints and Punk chants that followed. It left me wondering why Taker would want to be involved in that. They really chose the tackiest path to hyping a match that I was looking forward to on paper a lot more than I am after all the hype. And again, like I said, I'm glad I am working rather than wasting my money on the pay-per-view itself. And I do have a couple of friends that are splitting the pay-per-view cost and watching it at their house. Good luck to y'all, Robert and your brother. Rob Showalter attended Monday's Raw TV event in Washington, D.C. and sent the following report of what happened after Raw ended with a TV taping. John Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus defeated the Shield by disqualification. Roman Reigns hit Cena with a chair for the disqualifications. Afterwards, Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus cleared the ring of the Shield. And that ended it. There was a second report after Monday's episode of Raw went off the air. Undertaker slowly got to his feet and walked to the back. John Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus defeated the Shield in the Dark Match main event by disqualification after Seth Rollins hit Cena with a chair. After the match, the babyfaces hit the heels with their finishers to end the show. Thanks for watching and peace out. Stay tuned for SmackDown up next.